What's up, guys? Today we are returning to a series I haven't touched in quite some time, and that's taking a look at some loadouts of same item qualities. For those of you who may remember, I did a while ago a series on looking at seeing if we could do on each class all vintage loadouts, all genuine loadouts, and there was also about the different grades of items. And we tried back in November of 2016, that's like what, 1.5 years ago, we tried to do all elite loadouts. Elite being obviously the highest grade of item, cosmetic or weapon that you can get in TF2. They're the rarest ones you get from crates, and you can get them in strange and unusual versions of them are absolutely insanely costly. And back then they were quite few and far between, and we had to kind of dupe a lot of the loadouts, and none of the loadouts managed to have an entirety of elite items on weapons and cosmetics. Since then, however, we've had a lot of updates with a lot of new items being put into the game, most notably things like war paints that can now cover a lot of weapons that were missing before in the elite grade, as well as a lot of cosmetics that can cover different equip regions that were previously unavailable. So today I'm going to look again, we're returning to elite items to see if now is it possible finally to have all elite loadouts on every class. We're going to start off, obviously, as we always do, with the Scout. And yes, we can have an all-elite loadout, finally. Scout was, in fact, the only class that could have all-elite weapons on its loadout with regards to weapons before. Because, of course, it was the only class that had an elite weapon in the melee slot, which was the Bat Saber. Came back from the confidential case back in the Alien Invasion update. But of course we've still got the Killer Bee Scattergun from the Wardbird collection and the Red Rock Roscoe pistol from the Concealed Killer collection, two of the oldest elite grade weapons in the game. Moving on to the cosmetics, we've got the Lightning Lid, which came from the Rainy Day cosmetics case, one of the ones more recently. Obviously that's I'm guessing it's supposed to be the Flash. You know, lawyers don't look. Secondly, we've got the Slithering Scarf from Unleash the Beast cosmetic collection. That was obviously during the Jungle Inferno update. And this is a really interesting item because it has opened up a lot of opportunities on the classes, because you can now have it around your neck, and that is an equip region that doesn't cover, you know, the face, the body, or the head. So that gives a lot of opportunity for these things. Finally, the Catastrophic Companions, which were from the Gargoyle collection. Again, slightly older, was available the last time we did this video, and it's a really important item because again it covers the body. Each class has the cats on a different place. For example, the Scout here, it's got him on his shoulders, but other classes have them on their legs or on their body, and basically it's a no equip region item, so it's very, very helpful. So yes, other than the action slot, which there are no items that are elite grade in the action slot, and this comes for pretty much every item quality other than genuine or, you know, strange or Halloween, haunted. There's nothing really that you can put in there that actually is elite. So I'm going to just ignore that. I'm going to say action slot doesn't count. It's only weapons and cosmetics. So the Scout is a thumbs up. We can do it. On to the Soldier now. And yes, again with the Soldier we can. We've got the Warhawk rocket launcher. Now last time I used the sand one, was it Sandstorm? I can't remember what it's called, and I remember saying it was the only elite rocket launcher, and everyone was like, "Ree, there's the Warhawk one as well," in the comments. Well, there you go, guys. For those of you who made that comment, here is the Warhawk rocket launcher. It is also an elite grade rocket launcher from the Warbird collection. We've also got now the Dragon Slayer shotgun. Now the shotgun, this is really important because the Dragon Slayer it's part of the Saxton Select collection, which came out with the Jungle Inferno update, which is, of course, if you did all of the quests on the Contractor, I think it was called, you managed to get this war paint that you could apply to a bunch of items, and the shotgun was one of them. So this is actually the first elite grade shotgun we can have in the game. Previously, the highest grade of a secondary weapon was in fact the Red Bear shotgun, which is only Assassin's grade. So now we've got an elite grade shotgun that opens up so much more possibilities across the classes. Down in in the melee slot, we've got this Puck Pigmented Disciplinary Action. Okay, this is from the Jungle Jackpot collection. This was from the war paints. This is from the war paints from Jungle Inferno. Now, for those of you who don't know, before we had skins, obviously, which were things like this, that you're able to have items that have different qualities, and then you are able to uncreate war paints and create weapons. Now, there are 3 different war paints that you can use. Puck Pigmented is one of them, and we'll take a look at the other ones later, but they can actually create items like the disciplinary action, which didn't previously have skins. So this again opens up so many more possibilities for these classes. So we do have all of the weapons elite grade there. Moving on to the cosmetics, we've got the War Eagle. This is from the Abominable Cosmetic Collection, again from Jungle Inferno, as is the Quizzical Quetzal. I think that's how you say it, which is a little parrot on the shoulder. They're both from the same collection, both from Jungle Inferno, and this wasn't possible before. And then down here, we've got the strange Robin Walkers. I've got a strange version, and this is from the Blue Moon Cosmetics Collection, one of the most recent cosmetic collections. And of course, this equips on the feet. You've now got these slippers, and because of them, the fact that they're on the slippers, you can wear them on pretty much any class. So this is absolutely amazing. It opens up, again, more possibilities for elite grade items across the board. On to Pyro, and again we've got a complete loadout, woohoo! Starting off with the Rainbow Flamethrower, which is from the Pyro Land Collection. This is something we used before. There are other options. I can go here and type elite. And we do also have the Dragon Slayer, Dragon's Fury. So the Dragon's Fury is the weapon that was released in Jungle Inferno. It's an alternate weapon for the primary slot for Pyro. And using that Dragon Slayer skin, you can actually, using the wall paint, you can create this skinned item. But I decided to go for just the Rainbow Flamethrower. Dragon Slayer Shotgun, of course, is another item that we just saw, and can now be equipped into the secondary slot. So that's really, that secondary slot is so done for so many classes. And then down here, melee weapons, which has been a big problem in the past. There were no melee weapons other than the Bat Saber. Now we can. We've got a back scratcher, which is obviously extra damage, but you have a lot less health coming towards you as a Pyro. And I've used the Fire Glazed War Paint. Okay, this was a war paint from the Infernal Reward Collection, and it's the elite grade version of that. There are three, like I said, three elite grade war paints, and this was the other one that could be used. Onto the cosmetics. There's so many cosmetics for Pyro on elite grade. It's absolutely insane. We've got the Combustible Cutie here as one of them. Potassium Bonnet, which is an all class, which doesn't really have an equipment. I mean, it just clips so much. How is this? There are items that don't conflict, and they're allowed, or they're not allowed, sorry, and this one clips so much, and it's for some reason allowed. We've also got the Slithering Scarf making a turn. We also have the, I think it's called the Arthropods. There we go, the Arthropods Aspect. That's another one, which there's quite a lot for the Pyro available in the elite grade. You've got so many options, but again, we can have a full loadout. Onto the Demoman, and again, a full loadout, absolutely brilliant. Going back to some similar items on the weapons. Rainbow Grenade Launcher here from the Pyroland Collection, pretty old school. And we've also got the Liquid Acid Sticky Bomb Launcher. This is from the Powerhouse Collection, again, two of the older skinned items. For our melee weapon, we've got Fire Glazed, again, the war paint being used into a Persian Persuader, which, I don't know, that just looks really cool. I really like the kind of the fire. I mean, it is a really poor version of the war paint. It's only battle scarred. But for the purpose of this video, I didn't really want to go around getting a ton of factory new items because they are quite expensive. But moving on to the cosmetics, we've got the Bomber Knight. This is from the Winter 2016 Cosmetics Collection. Now this, in fact, came out shortly after I made my video, and it opened up a lot more possibilities for the classes. So it was quite interesting, but I thought I'm not going to make a video right then. I've waited some time until many more have come out. We've got the Quizzical Quetzal again, and the Robin Walkers, just to have different items across the entire thing. So there we go, the Demoman. So we've got 4 classes in, and we can have all of them with elite grade items. Onto the heavy, and no! The streak is broken! Kudos to any of you who predicted that we could not have all elite items on every class. But it is the heavy that has ruined our day so far. We do have more items. Now, the interesting thing here, if you go to elite, you see there are actually no elite grade miniguns available to the heavy, except for the Dragon Slayer minigun. Again, it's that that Dragon Slayer wall paint that we got. And again, for the shotgun, there is nothing else. There's nothing else in the secondary available to the heavy. I do believe you can use the Panic Attack, maybe skin that up. But when it comes to actual items specifically for the heavy, you're kind of left quite short with possibilities, which again is why you go to fists. There are no items, no skins for elite grade items for the heavy, and there are no items using the war paint that you can actually turn into an item that the heavy can use in the melee slot. So we are kind of stuck there when it comes to having an elite grade item in that slot. What we need is a wall paint in the future that could actually be turned into something, who knows, maybe wall painted Fists of Steel, or maybe a wall painted, all class melee item. Who knows? But for the time being, we are unable to do that onto the heavy. This cosmetics got the Sucker Slug again. This is from the Quarantine collection case, a really old item, really old, compared to the other elite items. Slithering Scarf again, and the Catastrophic Companions complete the cosmetic side of the loadout. Onto the Engineer, and the Engineer, it depends on the way you look at it. You could say it's all elite if you ignore that little part at the bottom. We got the Dragon Slayer shotgun again. Again, Dragon Slayer shotgun being used all across the board. You can have things like the Family Business for some classes, and the Panic Attack skinned up with an elite grade version of the item. Red Roscoe pistol. Again, we saw that on Scout. Concealed Killer collection. And then down here we've got Park Pigmented. Again, using that previous wall paint we saw, and using it on the Jag. You can use it on things like the Wrench as well. And of course the Construction PDA. This PDA is just... it just ruins these loadouts. Other than Strange, there is nothing you can put in this slot. So unless Valve decides to start making collector's versions or genuine or whatever, there is no way we're going to have a different PDA. It seems the PDA is just... so sometimes it's just good to just ignore that slot. Just pretend it doesn't exist when it comes to loadouts. But onto the cosmetics, we've got the Flash of Inspiration. This is from the Rainy Day Cosmetics collection. It's pretty good. In fact, this was the only elite grade item I've actually unboxed in my entire life. I mean, you've seen me unbox Unusuals, you've seen me get Australians, but in all of my uncratings, the only elite grade item I ever got was this Flash of Inspiration. Quizzical Quetzal and the Catastrophic Companions. I think it makes it look like a bit of a mad scientist. You know, he's just this crazy dude staring at his little PDA surrounded by animals. I think that's pretty themed. Onto the medic, and yes, we have an entire loadout for this man right here. And before, if you remember watching the previous video, the medic in fact did not have a single elite grade item available to him for the weapon slots. Not a single one. There are no actual cosmetics either that were specific, and I can't remember if we actually had any, but it was probably just all class ones. But there were no weapons at all. The medic, as well as the heavy, heavy we talked about being overlooked, but the medic was drastically overlooked. But with the inclusion of skins, you can now have an entire loadout. On the crossbow, we've got Fire Glazed. Again, makes it look like that nice fiery crossbow. Dragon Slayer Medigun. You can have other skins on the Medigun as well. And then we got Park Pigmented on the Amputator. So that gives us all elite grade items on the weapon slots. But moving on to the cosmetics, we got the Class Crown. This is from the Creepy Crawler collection, one of the Halloween cases a couple of years ago. Slithering Scarf again, and the Strange Weapon Walkers. I think it makes him look like a bit of an eccentric king. You know, just a really eccentric dude. He's got his slippers on, he's got his crown on, and he's got like, I can imagine crazy kings would want like a snake scarf, right? I don't know, if anyone who here is a crazy king, let me know if that's the kind of thing you would do. But moving on to the next class, we have a Sniper, and woohoo! Sniper can have entire loadouts as well. We've got the Thunderbolt Sniper Rifle. This is from the Powerhouse collection. Powerhouse has to remain one of my favorite collections, actually, when it comes to skins. I really like some of the styles on those skins. Park Pigmented, both on the SMG and the this weapon, this knife. Both of these can be turned using the Park Pigmented skin, or one of the other skins if you would like to. So those were the weapons that we chose, and onto the cosmetics, we've got the Corona Australis, which is the sniper specific cosmetic from the Quarantine collection case. Just like the Sucker Slug, which is in the same case, which is only heavy. It's quite nice to have elite grade items that are specifically for one class. We've got the Quizzical Quetzal again, and the Catastrophic Companions just to complete the loadout. Again, it seems like these guys are a very common thing together because they do occupy different areas of the body, so it allows it to be an all elite grade loadout. On to the final class, we've got Spy, and no! Spy ruins the day. I mean, the Heavy and the NG, you could argue, the Heavy didn't have the melee slot, the NG didn't have the PDA slot, and the Spy is missing maybe a little bit too much to forgive. We have the Park Pigmented Revolver. There's no elite grade revolvers unless you use one of the war paints. We have the Dragon Slayer knife. Again, with the knife, there are no elite grade knives. There's lots of different, other primary weapons, but the knife is not one of those weapons that has elite grade unless you use a war paint like the Dragon Slayer. But onto the Inviswatch, there is nothing. We do not have anything available to us, which is interesting. How would a skinned version work? Would it work at all? It's kind of interesting because you don't actually physically see it for that much as a spy. So we'll have to see if in the future they decide to do anything like that. And then you go to the Sapper, which is something different. Again, you see more of this. It's actually visible on your POV when you're playing. We do have things like the festive one, which are visually different, the snack attack. So not having a skin for those, maybe in the future we'll have something like the default sapper, but with maybe wrapping paper that is the skin. Who knows? But for the time being, the spy is missing out on those weapon slots. But moving on to the cosmetics, the spy did actually have the opportunity before to have this. We got the Bedouin bandana from the Mayflower Cosmetics collection, which goes really well with the Deadhead. I think these cosmetics look absolutely. I think they were just made for each other. Just it looks so cool. And then adding the slithering scarf, which is obviously one of the newer items, he just looks so cool. I really want to have that as my spy loadout. Like, I don't know, get like an unusual version, like a flaming or like a burning flames version. That would be pretty insane. But for the time being, we'll have to cope with this. So there you go, guys. One of the war paints we did miss. We're going to go to my backpack and we're just going to type in elite and we're going to scroll to the end. If we can find it, there it is. Miami Element war paint. This is from the Winter 2017 collection. It's the most recent war paint case you can uncrate. This was another item that you can create things into. If we go here and we click on use, you can see all of the different things that we can use. So we can use all of these weapons. Like we can see here, these are all the weapons that are available to us, and why certain classes cannot have that full loadout. But there's plenty of options. I chose things like the disciplinary action. You can use something different. The demo specifically has a lot of different swords you can use. But there we go. That's the other elite grade war paint we could have used for those items. But among the 9 classes, I think it's pretty cool to say that 6 of them can now have all elite grade loadouts. Only ones missing are the heavy. He needs that melee item. The NG doesn't have the PDA. We could forgive the PDA. I'm sure he still does have those 6 item slots filled up. It's just the PDA, which has notoriously and historically been unable to have anything other than the default or the strange. And of course, finally, the spy, which has the Inviswatch and the Sapper, 2, again, kind of strange items. Maybe in the future we'll see something, but I wouldn't actually count on it. So maybe in a year or so I can make another one of these videos and finally it'll be complete. But I hope you guys enjoyed the update. Some of you have been asking, hey, don't you think some of the classes can now have all elite loadouts? Well, there we go. Now's your answer. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time.